I speed ran studying for the JLPT and passed N3 with only 2 months of consistent studying. If anyone watching this also struggles with consistent studying and likes the adrenaline rush of impending doom, aka the exam getting closer and closer, you've come to the right place. Briefly, the JLPT stands for the Japanese Language Proficiency Test, which evaluates and certifies the Japanese language proficiency of non-native speakers, N5 being the most basic one and N1 being the most advanced. And for those of you who don't yet know which JLPT is the best one for you, I've included brief descriptions of each level in the description box. There are a few reasons why taking the JLPT is essential, the most notable being either for work, to get into a Japanese university, or to help with your visa application if you want to live in Japan. And I know that sitting an exam sounds scary, but passing the JLPT was actually easier than I thought. First, we will briefly talk about the exam structure, then we'll move on to the textbooks I used. We'll do a deep dive into the strategies I used to prepare for each section of the exam, and we'll finish off with some tips for the day of the exam that I wish I knew back then. The first part of the exam covers vocabulary, grammar, and reading. We get 30 minutes for the vocabulary section and 70 minutes for the grammar and reading. The vocabulary section pretty much just tests your kanji knowledge, and that's the section I found the hardest. There are 5 things you have to do. Choose the correct kanji reading. Choose the kanji that matches the hiragana. Choose the correct word for the given sentence. Choose the correct paraphrase. Choose the sentence that correctly uses the given vocabulary. For the grammar section, you have to choose the correct grammar for the given sentences and in a text. Construct the sentences in the correct order. The reading section is, well, reading comprehension of texts in different sizes. And the second part of the exam is a 40-minute listening section where you basically just listen to different conversations and you have to select the right answers to the questions asked. I used 3 resources: the Shinkansen Master Grammar and Vocabulary books, and this grammar book, which I will forever call my holy grail of grammar. The Shinkansen Master series is incredibly practical. Its sole purpose is to prepare you for the exam, and so it cuts straight to the point. It's filled with exercises which follow the style of the exam. I did find the grammar book a bit lacking on the sentence examples front, which is why the Holy Grail was the perfect supplement. This perfect book is very easy to use. You can search for a grammar point by its first hiragana. The grammar explanations are very concise and are available in English, Korean, and Chinese, and the example sentences are very easy to understand. I've included links to the textbooks in the description box if you want to check them out. Here is a summary of how many kanji and vocabulary you need to learn for each level. I'm not one to sit down and write the same kanji and words over and over again. This is why I prefer acquiring new vocabulary the more natural way, aka encountering the same vocabulary over and over again in different ways. The good thing when you're preparing for the JLPT is that this is very easy to do. Because for each exam level, there's a set number of vocabulary you are expected to know, and textbooks tend to be focused on using that specific vocabulary. Whenever I encountered a new word, I wrote it down, together with its different meanings. But just writing down the words and their meaning in a notebook, and waiting to encounter them again as you study, is not enough. According to the research on the forgetting curve by German psychologist Hermann Ebbinghaus, after we learn something, our brains tend to forget it over time, following a curve that looks like this. So just writing down the kanji and words in a notebook is not enough. If we finish learning something new and we don't review it, the retention of that knowledge naturally decreases towards 0. If we review it too frequently, it's not only time-consuming, and I'm sure very few of us can dedicate a whole day to studying, but the knowledge remains in our short-term memory. To ensure a long-term retention, we need to transfer the knowledge we've learned to our long-term memory by creating appropriate intervals between review sessions. Here is where spaced repetition comes into play, and so does our lovely sponsor for this video, MochiKanji. Mochi! What's special about the MochiKanji app is its combination of the spaced repetition method with special algorithms that analyze your learning history, which together generate your golden time. This golden time is the right time for you to revise before you forget the kanji and words you've learned through the app. MochiKanji can help you memorize 1,000 words in 1 month thanks to its golden time feature. So when the time comes, you get a notification and you just have to click on it and do the small vocabulary tests the app has selected for you. It's really easy to learn with this app, even if you only have 10 to 15 minutes a day to spare. I use it when I'm commuting and it makes time go by very fast. The app is very easy to navigate as the 6,000 vocabulary is divided into sections, including JLPT specific ones and job specific ones like IT and nursing. Within each section, the vocabulary is divided into small topics, and as you study the kanji flashcards, it also shows you images, example sentences, and plays audio so you can hear the correct pronunciation. MochiKanji resolves 2 problems for you: finding and compiling all necessary kanji and vocabulary for passing the JLPT, and remembering them effectively with its diverse course list and its unique golden time method. Once you start doing the tests, MochiKanji will divide your vocabulary knowledge into 5 levels, from level 1, just learn, to level 5, long-term memory. As the levels go higher, the review frequency decreases. You can also track your learned words in Mochi's digital notebook, which shows you your knowledge level for each word you're learning. What I really enjoy about the MochiKanji app is that it doesn't only test you with flashcards, but it also gives you sentences for which you have to select the right word, and also the hiragana reading for which you have to select the right kanji. So it offers you a varied way to practice your vocabulary that is perfect for preparing you for the JLPT questions. If you come across new words during your studies or while taking a test, you can look them up using the dictionary function of MochiKanji's website version. You can look up words by their kanji, romaji, or kana, and see their meaning and pronunciation together with example sentences. You can also join the Learn Japanese group named Mochi Learn Japanese, where you can share your journey, take part in MochiKanji events, and learn about new updates. And it also has a really cute interface. Honestly, I find that the colors, the sounds, and the little MochiKanji character make studying more fun. I mean, look at it. Doesn't it make you want to study? Now, to be fair, I didn't use the app when I was preparing for the exam, but I wish I did. I would have been way less stressed about the vocabulary section if I had used MochiKanji back then. So now I'm using it to maintain my N3 kanji knowledge and to slowly prepare for the N2 exam. I highly recommend using the MochiKanji app because it not only saves you time making flashcards and scheduling study sessions, but it also uses the scientifically proven study method of spaced repetition to tailor your own personal study sessions through its golden time. Not only is it optimized for memory retention, but it also makes studying fun, which in my experience is very rare. MochiKanji is available for download on App Store and Google Play. You can also access it on your PC through your web browser. And for your convenience, I've included download links in the description box. Thank you MochiKanji for sponsoring this video. So as you can see, I have these little sticky tabs. When I got a textbook, I went through all the chapters, divided them up, and then put tabs with dates written on them. This whole thing was covered in tabs. So if a tab said November the 26th, then on that date, I had to do the section from that tab until the next one. And if I wasn't able to do all of it that day, then the next tab would move its starting point to the chapter I haven't done. And I scheduled my studies, so I would be done with the whole textbook about a week before the exam. In this notebook, I pretty much copied the lessons from the textbook, and for each grammar point, I also copied the example sentences from the Holy Grail. After I was done with the textbook, I ended up making flashcards and I used them in the week coming up to the exam. When I was doing the example questions, I timed myself, and the first time I did them, I didn't look up any vocabulary. After checking my results, I went over them again, this time translating what I didn't know. I applied the same strategy when I was preparing for the reading section. Tabs, timing, reading without translating, translating after. Speed is really important here. What worked the best for me was reading the questions first and then jumping into the text, so I could scan read. Also, my personal advice is to do the last 2 texts first. They give you more points, and as you get pressed for time, you're more likely to panic.
This is no time to panic. This is the perfect time to panic!
When you see a large block of text in front of you, than if you only have the smaller text left. And don't spend time dwelling on your answers too much. Answer and move on. If you have time left, then you can review your answers. The most critical mistake you can make in this section is getting stuck on a question and wasting time. I also made sure to dedicate the week before the exam to doing mock exams. So I got a bunch of test papers and I did 1 mock per day in the week before the exam. I made sure to time myself and not use any resources. There are a lot of mock exam papers as well as past JLPT papers you can find online, and I will link some resources in the description box. Honestly, I didn't really do anything special to practice for the listening part. I just watched a lot of Japanese content without any subtitles. However, I found it was good to take note of some common keigo expressions, as they do tend to come up in the exam. If you are into K-pop, a good way to get more Japanese practice is if you try to transfer that interest to J-pop. So a friend of mine actually forced me to watch the Japanese Produce 101 with her and some more J-pop content. And that really helped with my listening skills. A good website for this is Bilibili. Netflix has a good selection of Japanese TV shows and anime that you can watch in Japanese with Japanese subtitles, which is a method I highly recommend if you want to practice both listening comprehension and kanji. For my N3 prep, I focused on slice of life animes like Komi Can't Communicate and Kimi ni Todoke. I have a list here of things I wish someone had told me before I went to sit the exam. Number 1. Go really early and locate as many toilets as you can, because going to the toilet during the break between the 2 sections is almost as nerve-wracking and challenging as buying concert tickets. Number 2. In the break before the listening section, pump yourself up with coffee, chocolate, or whatever helps your mind reset and concentrate. Because by the time the listening started, I was already exhausted and my concentration was non-existent. I swear at least 2 of the questions went through one ear and out the other. I completely blanked. Number 3. No one cares about you. Just concentrate on your work and keep going. Because here's the thing. The place I was assigned to was right at the front of the room, right next to the invigilator, and the big ominous clock that was counting down our time was like 1 arm away from my face. Okay? Not the best environment to take an exam. So my brain started going in loops. Like, I bet the people behind me can see my answers and they can tell they are wrong. I bet the invigilator can tell I'm making mistakes and is judging me. I think about it now and I want to punch myself. But anyway, don't make my mistakes. Don't get too much in your head. Believe in yourself and focus on your work. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you have any advice about studying Japanese and passing the JLPT, please leave a comment. We're all in this together, so let's help each other out. And to anyone about to sit the exam, good luck. You've got this. Finally, if you want to hear about my experience studying in Japan or about how I've been studying Japanese in the past few years, then check out these videos. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.